Yes, sir.
This call is now being recorded.
So let's start our discussion from block 2, and we'll start from our discussion from descriptive survey. So this is all about your block 2, different types of studies in educational research. Unit 5 is all about descriptive research. Unit 6 is all about experimental research 1. 7 is all about experimental research 2. Then Unit 8 qualitative research, and Unit 9 philosophical and historical studies. So let's start our discussion from descriptive research. So as a type of research study or educational research, your descriptive research studies or investigates different kinds of phenomena or incidents in natural settings. For example, you want to study the classroom process of elementary school, a particular school or a particular class, then we can study or investigate how the classroom process is going on in the class in that particular school. So you need to go to that particular school and observe the natural setting. That's why your descriptive research studies or investigates different phenomena or a particular phenomena in natural settings. So when you are going to prepare proposal, research proposal, then you have to conduct study and submit a report based on your study or research. Then you may opt for this kind of research as far as its nature, its characteristics, its design, its procedures are concerned. So if you follow or if you adopt descriptive research design, then you have to follow as far as descriptive research characteristics or design or procedures are concerned. So let's discuss about it in detail one by one. So as far as your research studies are concerned, now we discuss about descriptive studies. Then what are different types of descriptive studies that are included in descriptive research as far as educational research is concerned. So regarding different types of descriptive studies, we have uh, four sorry, we have seven kinds of descriptive research as far as your syllabus and material is concerned. So let's discuss one after another. Then we shall move to the different steps which are followed to carry out a descriptive research study. So let's discuss about different types of descriptive research studies. Number one is all about your survey, census survey or census survey ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ କହୁଛେ କ'ଣ, it's simply the name suggests that your population ଯୋଉଟା ହୁଏ, ଜନସଂଖ୍ୟା ଗଣନା ହୁଏ, that is called as your census survey. It comes under descriptive research type. So what happens there in census survey, there is a gathering of information about all the units of the population. That's why I'm going to Janasankhya, Janagarana, जो हमें पहुँचे. What happens there? There is collection of information about all the units of the population. That may be a particular of that may be of a particular village, of a particular block, of a particular state, or of a particular country. So census survey helps to gather information about all the units of population. Means when you need to collect, when you need to identify the information regarding all the units of population, you have to opt for census survey descriptive design. The second type of descriptive research study or survey, descriptive survey studies, is all about sample survey. Sample survey. सेंसस सर्वे कौन होता सेंसस सर्वे आम कौन कहते ऑल द यूनिट्स ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन were considered for collection of data or information, but in sample survey you need to gather relevant information about a smaller representation of the entire population understand. For example, am I audible clearly?
No, sir, not audible.
Not audible.
Sir, your voice is very mutely. Can you speak loudly? ଟିକେ ସାର୍ ଟିକେ ଜୋରିକି ଟିକେ କହିଦେବେ ବୋଲେ ଭଲ କାରଣ ଫୁଲ ପୁରା ସାଉଣ୍ଡ ଦେଇ ଦେଇଛୁ ମାତ୍ର କିଛି ସାଉଣ୍ଡ କ୍ଲିୟର ଆସୁନି।
Let me try. The voice acceptable to जोर से. Is it audible now?
ହଁ ଅଡିବୁଲ ସାର୍।
Audible का?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍।
Okay. So the second type is all about sample survey. Sample survey is if you want to study or gather the information regarding the relevant information about a smaller portion, a smaller representative of the entire.
Your voice is not audible sir.
Yes.
Sir ଆପଣଙ୍କର voice ଆସୁନି total।
କହିଲେ ଆସୁନି କଣ କରିବି? Is not audible?
Audible sir। ସାର୍ କଣ କରିବା ଆପଣ ପଢେଇଲା ବେଳୁ ମଝିରୁ ଭଏସ ପଳଉଛି।
ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାବେଳେ ଏଇ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହବ ଏମାନେ କେମିତି ଇଭିନିଂରେ ରଖିବେ।
ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ବିନା ଇୟରଫୋନ ରେ ଟ୍ରାଏ କଲେ ହୁଏତ ଶୁଭିବ ଭଲ କି ଟିକେ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କଲେ ବିନା ଇୟରଫୋନ ରେ କୁହନ୍ତୁ କାଳେ କାଳେ ଭଲ ଶୁଭିପାରେ।
Am I audible?
हाँ सर।
Am I audible now?
यस सर कंपैरेटिवली गुड।
Comparatively better.
यस सर।
Am I audible clearly?
Yes sir, yes sir।
यस सर ऑडिबल।
Okay, let's continue with this without earphone. So I was discussing about the second type of
सर यस
descriptive.
यस इट इज बेटर।
It's
यस सर इट
better.
इज बेटर।
Okay, okay,
यस सर।
okay. Thank you. So I was talking about the second type of a descriptive survey, which is so I was just by those person at a particular location if is found COVID-19 positive. So what do we do? Or टेस्ट करा जा तो सेठी कौन करा होची आ सेठी सैंपल
Sir, କିଛି ଶୁଭୁନି।
यस
ତ ଭଏସ ଅଡିବୁଲ ହଉନି।
कौन करा जाई परिबो
ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ଏବେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଶୁଭୁଛି କିନ୍ତୁ କହିଲା ବେଳେ ଠିକ ଶୁଭୁନି।
ईयरफोन लगेले सुबुनी बिना ईयरफोन लगेले भी सुबुनी कौन कर परिबे ओके लेट मी ट्राई अनदर जस्ट वेट फॉर दैट
Sir, good evening. एक्चुअली कौन आप लैपटॉप ना डेस्कटॉप ना मोबाइल
लैपटॉप सर
लैपटॉप ताले हबा कथा प्रॉपर
लैपटॉप रे ही करूची सर
ताल तो ये था लैपटॉप रे कोन ऑडियो वॉल्यूम प्रॉब्लम किछि अछि कि प्राय
लेट मी ट्राई
हां हां देखो लैपटॉप तो क्लियर हवा कथा कारण हम डेस्कटॉप तो मु आमे मोर डेस्कटॉप रे यूज करती इट इज वेरी क्लियर आपन सुगाउती मो वॉइस
you are audible clearly sir
हां okay now your maybe some internet problem slow is there yes
during evening time it's quite natural the server will be down
actually maybe that may be the problem because sometimes your voice is clear sometimes your voice is not clear
okay sir let me try
okay thank you
am I audible now am I audible
Yes, sir.
am I audible now
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay let's continue with this so I was discussing about the second type of descriptive survey study, that is sample survey, where I was talking about that the government is trying to have sample surveys to identify those people of a particular area during this pandemic situation. So this is sample survey. Instead of collecting information from the entire or single individual unit of the population, you collect information from the samples. Here, the third type of descriptive survey is all about cross-sectional survey, where standardized information is gathered from a sample drawn from a cross-section of predetermined population at one point of time. So cross-sectional survey means that if you follow or if you adopt cross-sectional survey design method while conducting your research, you have to collect data or gather information from a sample drawn from the cross-section of predetermined population. Cross-section, I do repeat, cross-section. It means there may be both boys and girls. There may be from both from different categories of learners. There may be the students belonging to different socioeconomic status. There may be the students belonging to different learning achievements. All these, but the information will be collected at one point of time. At one point of time, you are to collect data or information from a variety of samples. And the fourth type of descriptive survey is all about longitudinal survey, where you need to explore the status of variables as investigated on different points of time. Longitudinal, the name or the term is very clear that you have to collect data over a period of time. It means while conducting this type of study, longitudinal survey, the exploration of status of variables as investigated on different points in time in order to know the changes or identify the changes in the status of variables with regard to different point of time. So this is the basic difference between your cross-sectional survey and longitudinal survey. In cross-sectional survey, the information is collected at one point of time, and in longitudinal survey, the information is collected over a period of time. Your longitudinal survey may be of three kinds. Longitudinal survey again is divided into three subparts. What are those? One is your trend study, the second one is about your panel study, and the third one is all about cohort studies. So let's discuss one after another. Trend studies. While opting this kind of research study, trend study, the researcher collects data in different phases. What is called as trend study. Different phases. Phase 1, after completion of phase 1, you need to again recollect data, applying or following phase 2. After that, you may also opt for phase 3. So phase-wise data collection is one of the best characteristics of trend studies. Trend. What is going on today, you observe. Then after 15 days, you may come back to again to identify or to observe again the phenomena on that particular place or on the particular event to know what is going on. This is all about trend study. Second subtype of your longitudinal survey is all about panel studies, where the same group as sample respondent is studied over a period of time. What is called panel studies. The same sample or the same group of sample is studied again and again over a period of time. The third subcategory of longitudinal survey is all about your cohort studies. Cohort, C-O-H-O-R-T. So your cohort studies are conducted with a specific population taken for study over a period of time. With a specific population, I do repeat, with a specific population over a period of time. Again, we have another kind of descriptive survey study that is called as comparative study. Comparative. What happens there? Now, while the researcher wants to make a comparison between two things, between two phenomena, between two variables, that maybe two or more than two. When you need to make a comparison between two or more than two variables, at that time you need to opt or follow comparative survey design. It means, suppose you want to have a comparison between the traditional method of teaching and the 21st century method of teaching. For example, you need to study the effectiveness of traditional classroom, traditional methods of teaching, and the constructivist methods of teaching. So, if you want to have a comparison between these two methods, then you need your design will be of comparative survey design. Here what happens? Now there is a comparison point. There is an assumption that there may be similarities or there may be differences. When you need to compare between two or more than two, there is chance of similarities or differences. And the third criteria of this comparative survey is all about, a point of criteria or a point of comparison. So criteria for comparison. You need to compare. Suppose you want to compare between two boys. So what will be the criteria of your comparison? Anybody else? कहीपर जब दीटा पुओं मध्य आम कंपेरिजन करवा दीटा पिला मध्य आम कंपेरिजन करवा we need to compare between these two individuals, then we have to follow certain criteria. What are those? Anybody else? Hello?
So we can take the criteria of height, weight, and
Yes,
efficiency in language.
So, yes, whenever
Physical appearance, educational appearance.
good.
The way of
That-
talking style.
Very good. So that criteria are to be, predetermined, so that on the basis of those criteria, you are to compare between two. या नुह जे आम हाइट गोटे पिलार हाइट सहित आ गोटे पिलार वेट को कंपेयर करिवा नो दैट इज नॉट जस्टिफाइड द क्राइटेरिया or the basic points need to be remain same while comparing or making comparison between one variable with other. Next, next type of survey study को जिबा. There is another kind of survey, descriptive survey, which is called as your evaluative survey. Evaluative survey. What happens? Evaluative survey we follow kariba. The name suggests that you need to evaluate a program. Suppose implementation of midday meal. A program is launched, is being implemented. So you need to evaluate the purpose for which midday meal was implemented, whether the purpose is fulfilled or the guidelines that are meant for implementing midday meal is followed or not. How can you say? You can say by conducting studies, and those studies will be of evaluative type. So evaluative survey focuses on evaluating a program, a scheme, an activity, what is going on or what has been going on. So while opting this kind of studies, please keep in your mind, because you are going to prepare a research proposal. After that you will conduct study and you are to submit a dissertation or report. So all these types of research studies may help you if you opt one kind of study as far as descriptive research studies are concerned. And the last type of descriptive survey is all about documentary survey. Documentary survey. What happens there? Now, different questions need to be answered through analysis of data available in printed text. That may be book, that may be any kind of report, that may be any kind of record, that may be any kind of printed materials or papers. So your documentary survey focuses on finding out the questions pertaining to your study. What question answer paiba? Na from the analysis of available data in the form of books, in the form of printed text, in the form of your report, in the form of records. That is what we call documentary survey. Suppose one of you or one of the researcher wants to study about the development of education in Odisha. Then, especially at elementary school level, then that researcher needs to collect information regarding the questions, how it has been developed, with the help of different documents, with the help of different reports which have been gathered or repositories from the government officials, especially Directorate of Elementary School Education, and different papers. So while analyzing all those records, you may come up with your findings that how the elementary education in Odisha has been evolved, has come to this stage. Again, after all these kind of 7 types of descriptive survey studies, now question may be put here: if we follow, if we adapt descriptive research design in order to carry out our research, in order to carry out our project, then what are the steps that need to be followed while carrying out descriptive survey research? It is very important as far as conducting research, as far as preparation of research proposal, as far as your submission of a report regarding your research work. All these steps are very essential. Number 1, the first step of descriptive research, the first step is all about like that: selection of research problem and its significance. Am I audible clearly? Mamta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So the first step describes as it is, or as like, selection of research problem and its significance. Whatever research you may opt, if it is well defined, if it is selected properly, then your half work or half of the research work is completed. Just think about that. If your problem is not well defined, well identified, well selected, then the researcher may be in trouble while conducting study. So the first step of descriptive research is to select or selection of research problem and its significance. Significance, I will come to that point. Suppose one of the student or one of the researcher wants to study on effectiveness of discussion method, effectiveness of, our example those, effectiveness of play-way method for elementary school students. It can be done with the help of your survey design, descriptive survey. So if the problem is well identified, then you have to state the significance, what we call, that is your rational justification of the study. Why have you opted this title, this topic? There are lots of topics for study, but why did you select this topic? This is to be highlighted. This is to be justified, which is called as your significance of study. So after selection, suppose the topic is like that: effectiveness of your collaborative learning or effectiveness of your play-way method in elementary schools. Then you have to justify, you have to put forth your argument. Why did you select this topic? Anybody else? कहीपर कि कहीं तुम स्टडी कर? अच्छा,
let you speak one of the topic so that all the steps may be followed for you. That will be beneficial. You will have a clarity. और टॉपिक को आप यही जाने कहाँ पर स्टडी करें पंचायत हेलो हेलो
Hello, sir. Sir,
हाँ
namaskar.
बोलो
Sir,
नमस्कार
actually, I want to have a study on this virtual learning program. The effectiveness of
Virtual.
yes, sir. So, can it be a topic, sir?
yes maybe why not
Can I take it as my topic, sir? I want to.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
yes why not
Okay, sir.
okay so let's take this example effectiveness of virtual learning on or often the elementary school students or secondary elementary effectiveness हम देखी परिवार जो देखिए secondary व higher education देखले better होगा कारण elementary वर्तमान स्थान में पहुंच पा रही है okay so if this is your title this is your topic,
Yes.
if this is your topic then you identified your topic effectiveness of virtual learning on secondary school students or effectiveness of virtual learning for secondary school students. So you need to survey, you need to collect information from secondary school students, you may collect information from parents, you may collect information from their teachers so that you may be well conversant or your findings may come with a finding, your study may come with a finding whether virtual learning, a virtual classroom is effective or not. So point comes here as far as this first step is concerned, you identified your topic. The topic is being selected now. But the question arises that why did you select this topic? What will be your answer?
Sir, I want to say.
Yes, please speak.
So my answer will be like this. In this situation, as we know, traditional classroom teaching is meaningful, but while keeping with pace with science and technology, we need to accustom with the modern technology, and we need to adopt the modern ways of learning. So that's why we need to practice this. And how far it is applicable, how far it is beneficial for the students, for the parents, and for the entire education system of our country, the investigator need to know.
Yes, good, very good. This is one ground. You can justify your topic. You can justify your topic that the situation is going worse. It's not possible to conduct face-to-face classes, physical classrooms, because there may be chance of loss of life. There may be chance of contamination. There may be chance of spreading of COVID-19, isn't it? So due to that, we opt for online classes. Number two, which is I'm going to highlight now, your study should be based on some of the past studies, some of the evidences. Okay, so while stating your rationale or significance or justification or need of the study, whatever may you write, significance, rationale, justification, need of the study, you need to justify it based on some of the reviews based on the past evidences. Suppose ଆମେ କହିବା କି on effectiveness of virtual classrooms were found to be very positive in foreign countries. That's why we're trying to implement it. Let's see whether it's working in our context, in our society, in our locality or not. Because it's very fruitful in foreign countries. That's why we're trying. So while stating, ଏଇଠି କାହିଁକି କହୁଛି I do repeat here, ଏଇଥିପାଇଁ କହୁଛି ଯେ ପିଲା କହନ୍ତି ମତେ ଏଇ ଟପିକଟା ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା ତେଣୁକରି ମୁଁ ନେଇଗଲି, ମୋର ଏଇ ଟପିକରେ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟ ଅଛି ତେଣୁକରି ମୁଁ ନେଇଗଲି. But research is all about, research needs some sort of evidence. Research has its own language. Research has its own system. You have to justify. For example, ସେଇଠି ତମର ସାଙ୍ଗ କହିପାରେ ଏ ଟପିକ ତ ସିଏ ନେଇଛି, ସିଏ ତ କରିଛି, ତମେ ପୁଣି କାହିଁ କରୁଛ ତାପରେ ରିପିଟ୍ କରୁଛ. So you have to justify with logic, with some sort of evidences. Yes, the study might have been conducted at Koraput. The study might have been conducted in Koraput with these kind of components or elements or dimensions. But the study has not been conducted at Cuttack, at Sallepur with these dimensions. Virtual classroom may be effective in language. Some others say virtual classroom may be effective for teaching languages, but it is not effective for teaching English, teaching mathematics, teaching science. That's why I am trying to study, I am trying to unveil the truth whether virtual classroom is working, is effective in teaching mathematics or not. That's the justification. You may refer that no evidences, no studies have been conducted at Sallepur block or Cuttack district. That's why the researcher is interested to know whether it works in Cuttack district or not, whether it is effective in teaching mathematics or not. So in this way, you can justify your topic that you have selected and you are interested to study this piece of work. Number 2. Number 3, while stating your significance or rationale or need of the study, your rationale should be based on sound evidences. So always keep in your mind, while stating the rationale or significance of the study, your study should be based on sound evidences. What we call in research term, it should be based on review of related literature. It should be based on the evidences, the studies that have been conducted till date. And you have to state the research gap. Studies have been conducted. Yes, okay. And you have to find out the research gap. इतने सारा स्टडी है किंतु एई एरिया रे एई लोकेशन रे एई डायमेंशन ऊपर रे है ही नहीं, that is a gap. That's why you are trying to study. So this is the best justification of your study. That's why you opted, you selected, you identified this topic for investigation. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is all about the first step.
Sir, may I ask a question, sir?
Yes?
Sir,
Most
as we know, that research, I mean, whatever topic we are taking, that should be in precise manner. So here, if you want to give a title of it, so how we can? What would be the title of this research, and how we will represent this?
Okay. Okay, I am coming to your point.
Yes, sir.
Research is all, whenever you are trying to state or finalize the topic of your research.
Sir.
Your research topics should be very clearly stated. Very clearly stated. And it should be very precise. या नुहे कि गोटे paragraph बड़ paragraph ହେଇଥିବ first term ରୁ second sorry first word ରୁ last word को आसिला को पिला तार किसी meaning बुझी पड़ो भूली होतो. So please keep in your mind while stating a topic, the research problem, please delimit your topic within 15 to 16 words maximum. 15 words is enough. Clear? 15-16 word भितर तमे रखि दिले it's enough. So that will be very precise and eye catching. Highlighting point like that. So for that, as you mentioned, Narayan, your topic may be like this: effectiveness of virtual learning. Correct? Correct? Effectiveness of virtual learning. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay.
Sir, in the just before some time, we are discussing about the subjects like mathematics and science. So, if you are taking...
You may specify it. You may specify it subject-wise. Subject-wise, you may add that. You may add that.
So, if we don't take the subject, then we need to assess all the subjects. If we are taking subjects, then we need to assess the only specific.
I'm just coming to that point. Now it's your topic. It's very precise. While stating your delimitation of the study, scope and delimitation of the study, you may state that. While identifying operational terms, you may state that in my study or this piece of research work is delimited to all these subjects or teaching of mathematics only or teaching of science only. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the second point, second step of descriptive research is all about.
Sir?
Yes.
So I have a question. So while giving the significance of the study, when we were discussing about the third point, you said that reviewing the related literature, we came to know that the research has not been conducted on this topic, and now I'm trying to focus some light on this. So while we are reviewing the related literature, from which context? From the worldview or from a particular place? Like in India, it is not been conducted. So now I am reviewing the related literatures, and now I found out that it's been 50 year or 30 year back, a research was conducted. Now after these 30 years, I'm conducting a new research, or from the worldview. So, did you get my question?
Okay, I'm coming to your point. Number one, try to find out the latest studies. If you are conducting your study in 2020, are you getting my point? If you are conducting this study in 2020, means 2020, so try to get some reviews of related literatures, okay, or references of researches which are latest. If it is available, it's okay, or else to move towards the past. Number two, I'm coming to your point. You need to highlight, you may segment that this is the study which are conducted abroad, and these are the studies which are conducted in our country. This is the second segment. Third segment, you may classify different studies based on different dimensions of your study. For example, I'm coming to your point. Someone is conducting a study, implementation of midday meal in Odisha. Now, midday meal is not a single term. Midday meal has its different dimensions. For example, midday meal with regard to quantity, midday meal with regard to quality, midday meal with regard to the menu, midday meal with regard to the provision of hand wash, midday meal with regard to the place of dining, midday meal the condition with regard to the condition of kitchen and the cook. All these dimensions are there. If you find studies on each dimension, then you may classify, you may separate your reviews based on these dimensions. So basing upon those, you may find a gap. Suppose for example, no one has conducted a study on the health and hygiene of cook. So this is a gap which will pave you, which will provide you a strong point to carry out the research. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The second step of descriptive research is all about formulation of objectives. Now, after the first step is over, selection and significance of your problem is over. Second step is all about formulation of objectives.
Sir,
Now, why? Yes.
sir, in review of related literatures, sir, where we will get that related literature, sir? Any source,
Okay, I'm coming to your point.
sir?
Suppose effectiveness of virtual classroom is your topic. Okay. So you may collect reviews online. Google Scholar is there. You may search research studies on virtual classroom. You may find direct Google Scholar. There are some specific sites. Sodh Ganga. You may search number of research studies are there. Sodh Ganga. You may look into different libraries of different universities where there is free access. You may opt for JSTOR. If your institution is having that accessibility, you may search from that website. JSTOR. Now there are number of websites. Even your UGC has published different websites, different search engines or websites for searching this. And if you search different, libraries, if you are allowed, there are your different surveys on education. From there you can get your reviews. Clear?
Clear, sir.
So second step formulation of objectives. This is your second step of descriptive research. Formulation of objectives.
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, I have one question about assignment. Can we discuss now or what?
What?
I have some question about assignment. How can I write the assignment about MSc 106? There is 3 questions. We have to write the 3 questions.
You have to. There is the instruction in your assignment. Please follow that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
The second step is all about formulation of objectives. After identifying the topic, after identifying the problem for investigation, you need to state your objectives, which needs to be based on your reviews. Why do you want to study this research? Why do you want to conduct this research? This is all about your objective. For example, सेटा में कौन कहते virtual classroom रे to study the effectiveness, for example, to study the effectiveness of virtual classroom or virtual learning on science. That may be the objective. You may also study whether there is any kind of difference to study the or to find out to assess like that. जे तमे चाहूचे वर्चुअल क्लासरूम रे को मानकर फेवर अछि को माने लाइक करछन को माने लाइक करन तांकर मतामत जानिया पे or to study the perception or to study the opinion of secondary school students regarding the effectiveness of virtual classroom or virtual learning. To study the opinion of parents, to study the opinion or perception of teachers of secondary schools regarding the effectiveness of virtual learning. So these are some of the objectives. Accordingly, you are to move on. You may also add some of the objectives like these. To study the problems faced by students and teachers while opting virtual classrooms or virtual learning. What are the problems faced by students? What are the problems faced by teachers that you need to identify? This may be the objective. And accordingly, you will devise your research tool and collect data as far as your objectives are concerned. So after formulation of objectives, the third step is all about determination of tools and techniques of data collection. Tools and techniques of data collection. Now objectives are being formulated.
So,
Yes.
so in first step, we select a research problem and we give it a significance. So
Okay.
then when where we shall put the we shall put the delimitation and operational definition of the research.
I'm coming to that.
In which step?
Just I am which? Hello.
In which step we shall delimit our study? So ମୁଁ ପଚାରୁଛି delimitation ଆଉ operational definition ଟା ଆମେ କୋଉଠି ରଖିବା ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ step ଭିତରେ ରଖିବ ନା ସେଟା ମାନେ ଆଗକୁ ଅଛି?
Delimitation of the study last step ରେ ରଖିବେ. Operational definition of the study ତମେ selection ପରେ study. और objectives formulate ହେଇଗଲା तापर तुम operationally define କରିପାରିବ कि virtual classroom in this study refers to what? Elementary school means 1 to 8, but elementary students in your study refer to students studying in class 7 only. You have to specify. That is what we call operational definition of key terms used in your study. You have to operationally define. So the third point, determination of tools and techniques for data collection. Formulation of objectives is over. Then you need to determine the tools and techniques for data collection. Now, in order to fulfill your objectives, you need to collect some sort of information or data. Now, how it will be possible? It will be possible only with the help of the tools. For example, जो ऑब्जेक्टिव हमें कहते to study the perception of teachers and students about the effectiveness of virtual learning. So, in order to get the data, you need to specify the tools which are to be utilized by you to collect the relevant information. So, your tool may be different for different participants or respondents. You may conduct focus group discussion with the students. This will be beneficial for you. This will be beneficial for the students, so that they will feel free to share their real opinions before you. And as a researcher, you will get a chance to unveil the truth. कारण छोट पिला को तुम यदि क्वेश्चन दब से बुझीब न बुझी पारे देयर इज ए चांस ऑफ मिसइंटरप्रिटेशन बट इफ यू conduct a focused group discussion, this may help you to get the maximum result by prompting the child. Indirectly, you may elicit the desired response.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, here, what is the basic difference between focus group discussion and simple group discussion? What are the dimensions which will differ?
Okay, coming to your point. So your discussion, जब कहे डिस्कसन बेले आमर एमती भी डिस्कसन हो जो कि आदि न थाए अंत न थाए. Suppose there are 5 to 6 friends, they gathered at one point and they started gossiping. They started discussing about a particular point. There is nothing like prefixed criteria. There is nothing like step by step. There is nothing like prefix. But if you want to study a particular evidence, if you want to study a particular incident, or if you want to know the perception or the views of students, before going to have discussion, you will have a focus group guide where the questions are written, and accordingly you will proceed one question to the other. Focused, that's what it is called, focused group discussion. It means your focus is on those pre-written or pre-defined points. So you need to elicit all those answers or informations or data which you require. But in general discussion, what happens, you may skip. There is a chance of skipping some sort of required information because that is not fixed.
Hello?
Yes.
सर आपण जो कहले में एग्जिट क्वेश्चन हो कि सैंपल ग्रुप डिस्कशन क्वेश्चन हो सेटा में हटात जाय कि पिला को दबा ना हमर प्री टेस्ट और पोस्ट टेस्ट टाइम देखो क्वेश्चन हम देई सरीबा देन तापर एग्जिट टा दबा
Questionnaire or focus group discussion totally different. So questionnaire is a tool, focus group discussion is a tool. Okay. Suppose तमे क्वेश्चन पिला को देई देछ. क्वेश्चन तमे आंसर नहीं करिबो. But question में बहुत पिला there is chance that you may not be able to reveal the truth. छोटो पिला को पाई तमे इनडायरेक्टली देखो फॉर एग्जांपल आमे कहूचे तमे यदि टीचर का आगे पिला को पचारिबो बा टीचर नथिबे भी तम पिला को पचारिबो अच्छा पिले तुमको सार बाड़ाती पिला पता भी कहबनी बाड़ाती बोली हुए तो से इनफॉरमेशन या भी तो जदि मैं कहि देई परे हुए तो मते माड़ होई पारे तुमको भलो खाद्य मिलुची सब हम मार दे भलो खाद्य मिलुची किंतु ता भितर लुचि रही सत्य को तुम पाइल तुम जमी इनडायरेक्टली फोकस ग्रुप डिस्कसन पचार था पिला अच्छा डू यू गेट पिला तुम समस्त भल खाद्य पाच हाँ पाच अच्छा सब भल खाद्य पाच हाँ पाच हाँ मुझे भावी एमती मझे मझे बोधे पोक पोक बाहर थी बाहर ना हाँ थे बाहर now you elicited the response desired response जोटा कि क्वेश्चनर रे हबनी जोटा कि we fail to collect those information by applying the question.
सर
Yes.
सर एटा हमें सिना मिड डे मील ऊपर कले बेले जेते हमें पर्टिकुलर गोटे सब्जेक्ट ना टॉपिक ऊपर हमें करबा तो सपोज मते मैथ ऊपर गोटे मैथ रो
कौन तो
हाँ मु मैथ रो गोटे टॉपिक ऊपर मु पिला को सेटा माने करबा पय नै छी प्रॉब्लम बाछि तो मु पिला को से टॉपिक ऊपर पचरबे जे आपनकर टीचर माने भलो पढौछन्ती कि से जो टीचर पढौछन्ती तांको नाम कोन से केमिति पढांती
हां टॉपिक टाइप वन
सपोज मु गोटे टॉपिक कहूची भूगोल पढेला बेले पिलांकर मानचित्र जो जानिबाटा सेटा तांकर प्रॉब्लम होची जानि पारु ना से मानचित्र जनित समस्या तो सेटा जो मु सेटा तम कोन एग्जिट क्वेश्चन रे पचरिबे जे आपन को को टीचर पढौछन्ती ज्योग्राफी पढौछन्ती कि आपनकर माने एमते बेसिक फंडामेंटल जिंस गुडा समान को पचरिबे किंतु सेठी तो हमें क्वेश्चनर पिला को दबा ना तो पिला क्वेश्चनर देला परे तो सेपटे किछि रहिबे ना स्टार्टिंग रो ही एग्जिट क्वेश्चन रे रखिबे
ओके मेरे बड़े एमिति हुए हमें क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च कला बळे जोटा हमें क्रॉस चेक करिया पई पिला जहाँ कहते पिला जहाँ लिखिं से कहते कि ना जाना आम क्रॉस चेक करा जोटा आम कहे ट्रायंगुलेशन तुम पिला क्वेश्चन देल पिला लिखिकी देदेले तथा तुम चाहो पिला तो इंटराक्ट करने कारण आम समस्त जाचे सतटा केमी इनडायरेक्टली बाहर करेंगे क्वेश्चन पिला लिखिदेला पिला बुझीगला बुझला भी ठीक ठाक फुल बाल मारदेव मल्टीपल चॉइस ऑप्शन देथिबो यस नो ऑप्शन देथिबो पिला आइदर यस मारिबो न नो मार दबो बुझु कि न बुझु there may not be chance to get the real fact so after collection of a questionnaire from the students you may conduct a focus group discussion and your focus group discussion से नु एका से 50 टा पिला बसे पछारिबो maximum 10 to 12 students will be there maximum so that they will interact with you freely नहीं तो 50 टा नहीं बसले से हो हाला अब कि रिजल्ट पाइबा so the good number is all about 10 to 12 maximum clear
yes sir
sir in focus group discussion as we know in questionnaire no problem we are questions to the students and students are answering to them but in focus group discussion how the response will be recorded
yes
how
very good
the response of the students how sir
okay while conducting this
Please
while conducting your focus group discussion the researcher may need assistance or help from other means जोटा आम कहे जड़े तुम मो सांग को लेकिन जाइए बिकॉज यू विल टेक द इंटरव्यू जोटा आम कहे you need someone there is need of someone who will note down all these points number 1 number 2 while conducting your focus group discussion you may take the help of videography so that after completion of your focus group discussion you may transcribe you may replay the visuals the videos the audios and note down the findings pertaining to your question. So that's why I'm going to say the focus group discussion kare pai jauche jane pachare samare you may if you are efficient enough you may note down simultaneously with regard to your questions or you may take the help of other man or other friend who is to act as the transcriber. You may note down all these points. Clear? Hello?
Clear, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Clear, sir. Clear. Thanks, sir.
The fourth step is all about identification of population and sample. Now tools are ready. तमे tool ready करनेलो केमिति data collection करिवो either
Sir,
yes
sir, techniques also there.
okay I am coming to your point. So there is a difference between tool
sir,
and
out
technique.
sir, out additional question. Sir, ଟିକେ ପାରିବେ ଯଦି କହିଦେବେ ଟେକ୍ନିକ୍ ଆଉ ଟୁଲ୍ ଭିତରେ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ଟିକେ
Coming to your point. There is difference between tool and technique. For example, knife. All of you know. Churi, chaku. So knife କଥା ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ଛୁରୀ ବା ଚାକୁ ଯୋଉଟା ତମେ କହୁଛ that is an instrument. But ସେଇ ଚାକୁ ସାହାଯ୍ୟରେ ବା ଛୁରୀ ସାହାଯ୍ୟରେ ବା ନାଇଫ ସାହାଯ୍ୟରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଷ୍ଟାଇଲର ଆମେ ଆଳୁ କାଟି ପାରୁଛେ. Isn't it? So your tool ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ କହୁଛେ tool is the instrument and technique is the way of handling the instrument. For example, ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ଆଳୁ କାଟୁଛେ କାଟିବା ପାଇଁ ଆମର ଚାକୁ ଦରକାର. କିଏ ଗୋଲ କରି କାଟୁଛି ସେଇ ସେମ୍ ଚାକୁରେ କିଏ ଗୋଲ କରି କାଟୁଛି କିଏ ପତଳା କରି କାଟୁଛି କିଏ ମୋଟା ମୋଟା କରି କାଟୁଛି. The size of your potato depends upon the technique. So tool is your instrument. Technique is the way of handling the instrument. I'm coming to your point. Another example. While conducting research, you may take the help of interview schedule because it is a piece of paper. Interview schedule, sakshatkar sarani. That is a piece of paper where the set of questions are written previously. But how you are going to check the interview of the interviewee, ଯାହାକୁ ତମେ ଯାହାର ସାକ୍ଷାତ ନବ କେମିତି ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ପଚାରି ତାଠୁ ଉତ୍ତର ଆଦାୟ କରିବ, that depends upon you. That is your technique. The way by which you collect information is the technique, and the instrument by which you collect information is your tool. The same instrument, interview schedule, may be used by different two persons and may elicit different kinds of information. It depends upon the interviewer. ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆମେ କଣ କହୁଛେ ନା ସେମ୍ ଷ୍ଟୋରି ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଆକ୍ଟର ଆକ୍ଟ୍ରେସ୍ ମାନେ କଲେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆମେ କହୁଛେ କଣ ସେମ୍ ଷ୍ଟୋରି. Yes, he is a good actor. And she is a good actress. Why? And the way they present before others, before us, that makes the difference. That is the way. That is technique. But the story remains the same. So simply એટલે ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ଛୁରୀଟା ହେଉଛି ତମର instrument, that is your tool. But ଛୁରୀକୁ କେମିତି ଧରିକି କାଟିବା, the way you handle the knife is all about your technique. Pen, it's a tool. It's a tool, pen. But someone holds this pen at that point and writes. Someone holds this pen at this point and writes. But pen remains same. And depending upon the holding of nib or the point of pen, you produce good handwriting and bad handwriting. कर्सी स्लैंटिंग वगैरह वगैरह जो भी बोलते हैं ना हम लोग, handwriting होता है. It depends upon you. How do you move your pen with your fingertips? As a result of which you get good handwriting or bad handwriting. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes, sir.
So the fourth point I was talking about, identification of population and sample. Again, I was talking about sample survey. Now, we discuss about this population and sample. Now your tool is ready to be implemented upon someone in order to collect your required data to elicit the answer with regard to your objectives or research questions. So what will happen? You need to identify who are those upon whom or from whom you are going to collect the information. So in this regard, you may come across two terms. One is your population and the other one is your sample. So population is the entire unit. For example, say the study कथा कुरुतले effectiveness of virtual learning for elementary school students or sorry secondary school students. Yeah. Virtual learning in secondary schools.
Sir, the tools, can the tools can be opted at two or more? Because if you are
Yes,
adopting one tool for students and the same focus group discussion we cannot adopt for teachers, we can give them
no,
questionnaires.
yes, I was just talking about that. Questionnaire may not be fruitful to elicit the desired response, desired information from the students. That's why you need to opt for focus group discussion, because students feel free to share before you if you make or if you create such an environment where they can express themselves. As far as the elementary school students are concerned. So you may take interview of the teachers. For example, coach out example. ଯଦି ଆମେ ସେଇ ପ୍ୟାରେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ମାନଙ୍କ ଠାରୁ ଆମେ ଇନଫର୍ମେସନ୍ ଆଣିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛେ ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନିୟର ଦେଲେ ଯେତିକି ଇଫେକ୍ଟିଭ ହବ ଭାବୁଛ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ ନେଲେ ତାଠୁ ଇଫେକ୍ଟିଭ ହବ ନା କମ ହବ?
ସେ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ ନେଲେ ବେଶୀ ଇଫେକ୍ଟିଭ ହବ.
ବେଶୀ ଇଫେକ୍ଟିଭ ହବ. କାହିଁକି? Now we know that there is 100% chance that some of the parents may be illiterate who will fail to write down the answer on your questionnaire. Yes or no? There may be some sort of parents who may fail to understand and interpret your writings, your sentences. So they may not give you proper response. So you need to conduct interview for them. For example, teachers are not ready to spare time with you. हम पाखे समय नहीं हमको क्वेश्चन दे पढ़ा हमें कर दे दो. You need to apply questionnaire, develop questionnaire for them. So one study in order to elicit different kinds of information from different participants, you may apply different tools. For example, you need to observe the classroom situation, the infrastructure that are available in the school. You don't need to ask anybody. You move, observe what are the availabilities that will reveal the truth. So prepare an observation schedule so that you will get the real data, or else ତମେ ଯଦି ପଚାରିବ ହେଡମାଷ୍ଟରକୁ, କୌଣସି ହେଡମାଷ୍ଟର କହିବେନି ଯେ ଆମ ସ୍କୁଲରେ ଇନଫ୍ରାଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର ଭଲ ନାହିଁ, କାରଣ ସେ ଭାବୁଥିବେ ମୁଁ ଯଦି ତାକୁ ଡାଟା ଦେବି ଡାଟା ପଳେଇଯିବ ହାୟର ଅଥରିଟିଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ, ସେ ମୋତେ ହୁଏତ ଗାଳି କରିପାରନ୍ତି. Isn't it? So you may take the help of observation schedule, prepare an observation schedule, go with this schedule, and just go on ticking. It's available, yes. Condition good, bad, or worse. Good, bad, or worse. So different kinds of tools may be utilized for collecting required data to a particular study. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are discussing about population and sample. So if someone is conducting a study on the effectiveness of virtual learning in secondary schools, your population may be all the secondary schools of Odisha. Okay, if your study is confined in Odisha, your population will be all the secondary schools of Odisha. But it's very difficult on the part of the researcher to move to visit all the secondary schools of Odisha to collect data. It may be very expensive. It may be, time consuming. It may require very patience, which we don't have, or which we are not ready. Clear? So in that case, from that sample, now we can get the population. We can get the population of Odisha. How many secondary schools are there in Odisha? From DICE data, Government of Odisha DICE data I'm suppose there are 10,000 secondary schools in Odisha. Suppose 10,000 secondary schools in Odisha. So what will you do? Out of the entire population, we may take some sample, and your sample should not be less than 20%. Sorry, 10%, minimum 10% sample should be there. It should not be less than 10%. Or else your findings may not be generalized. So you, as per your capacity, as per your strength, you need to select the sample. Suppose you confined the study, your target now is, this is the population of Odisha, 10,000. Your target population is all about Cuttack district only. And in Cuttack district, suppose you found there are 100 secondary schools. This is your target population. That is the main population of Odisha. Clear? This is your target population. Suppose 100 is your target population. Now, you feel, uncomfortable to move those 100 schools of Cuttack district to collect data. So what will you do? You will take 20 or 30 schools out of the Cuttack district, where there are 100 secondary schools. You will collect data only from 20 or 30 schools. And those 30 schools will be your samples. So population, and we draw the representative of that population, which is called as sample. So sample is the true representative of the population. Samples are individual units which are considered as true representative of the population. ସମସ୍ତେ ଭଲସେ ଶୁଣିଥିବ, ମେଡିସିନରେ ଲେଖା ହେଇଥିବ, this is not for sale, this is only for sample. ଲେଖା ହେଇଥିବ sample medicine. Suppose in a class there are 100 students. In a class there are 100 students, and you need to collect data from 50. ଯଦି 100 ଜଣଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ format xerox କରିବ 100 ଜଣଙ୍କୁ meet କରିବ, it will take time. ତମେ କଣ କରିବ ନା 100 ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ନ ନେଇକି ତମ କ୍ଲାସରୁ ସେଇ 40 50 sample ଲ those who are representing the class, which are called as true representative of the population. So you will draw a sample of 50 or 30 or 40, and you will collect information from those samples. So this is all about the fourth step of identifying your population and sample. जोटी हम कहते यदि
Sir?
yes Cuttack district रे 100 टा अच्छी school, you as per your convenience, or you sampling procedure adapt करके sampling procedure पढ़ला बेले जानिबा कि sample draw करिबा. So you may opt lottery system, you may opt your systematic sampling, you may opt non-probability, probability sampling both हे परिबो तमे. Incidental sampling तमे opt करि परिबो, snowball sampling तमे opt करि परिबो. So जो sampling पढ़िबा तो detail पढ़िबा को sampling procedure हम adopt कले हम ପାଇଁ better chance होइबो. So इठी कोन कोचे ना population और sample identify हे गला परे the fifth step is all
Sir,
about,
more good question thila.
yes.
So, if it is feasible to reach at the population directly, can a researcher conduct the research on the population directly without finding sample?
No, there is no need of going for individual, drawing out sample. If the researcher is able to collect data from the entire individual unit, which is called as the population, you may.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
For example, your study is all about a particular tribe of a particular location. Yeah. So you may collect data from all those 30 or 40 families pertaining to the particular tribe, particular location. Okay. And this will come under your case study. This will not be survey. This is case study. What location, what state, with case study he paribo. Pilot research पर लाले पाइबा तो discussion. So the fifth step is all about method and procedure of data collection. This is the fifth step, method and procedure of data collection. Now your tools are ready. You have identified your population. You have identified or drawn your sample size. All these have been selected and identified. After that, you have to specify the procedure of data collection. How you are going to, or how do you collect, or how will you collect the desired data. Procedure. Whether by sitting at your home and you will mail your questionnaire through email to all those respondents, or you will visit the research sites, seek permission from those heads of the schools, interact with the teachers, you will interact with the students. After that, you will move towards their parents at their respective homes. You will take interview. So you have to specify methods or procedures of data collection. How you are going to collect the desired data in order to elicit the answer with regard to your objectives. This is all about your fifth step. Now, with the help of your research tool, by following the specific procedure.
So here is method. Which kind of method we are going to apply here? Sir, here you told this point is about method and procedure of data collection. So, sir, procedure you told, and we got it. But what kind of method we are going to apply here?
Okay. What kind of research method you are going to apply here? Suppose ଏଇଠି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ research method ଆମେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ପଢୁଛେ କି survey research କଥା ଆମେ ପଢୁଛେ design ସେଟା specify କରିବ ଯେତେବେଳେ survey design କରୁଛ କି ତମର sensor survey କରୁଛ କି evaluative survey ତମେ କରୁଛ କି comparative survey method ତମେ apply କରିବ କି parallel design ତମେ apply କରିବ कि क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च मेथड अप्लाई करिवो क्वालिटेटिव प्रोग्राम पढिबा कि एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च डिजाइन अप्लाई करिवो स्पेसिफाई अकॉर्डिंग टू द नेचर ऑफ योर स्टडी अकॉर्डिंग टू द स्कोप ऑफ योर स्टडी यू हैव टू स्पेसिफाई द रिसर्च मेथड नेक्स्ट सिक्स्थ वन इज ऑल अबाउट एनालिसिस and interpretation of data. After collection of relevant data from the respondents or from your sample or from your population as mentioned by someone, if my population is accessible to me, why not to collect information from the population? Yes, you can. If it is possible on the part of the researcher, you can collect. So after collection of data with your research tool by following the specific procedures, by specifying methods, you need to analyze the collected data and interpret the findings. For example, suppose you collected data from the teachers, from the parents, from the students, with a questionnaire, with interview schedule, with focus group discussion guide, respectively. Or you now you collected data field. After that, your data are to be tabulated. Tabular format place and according to your objectives or research question or hypothesis, you need to go on analyzing. संश्लेषण विश्लेषण करिवा आरंभ करिवो टेबल रहला ऊपर तळे डिस्क्रिप्शन चलला डिस्क्रिप्शन कला बेले you will come across one of the finding. Suppose parents do not favor this kind of virtual learning. This is you are finding out of your study, out of the research, suppose. Or someone found that the poor parents who are not sufficient in economic condition, they disliked, they opposed this virtual learning environment, virtual learning system, because they are not in a position to provide the ICT gadgets like mobiles, laptops, laptops, computers to their students. That's why they oppose. So your findings says that the majority of the parents didn't like the implementation of virtual learning. Then you have to add interpretation. Why? You have to discuss on this. Why this happened so? This is the cause for which they are not in favor of virtual class. You may quote the specific or unique quotations given by some of the parents, if it is unique in nature.
You, sir.
Quote that. Yes. Madhav?
So I could not listen to the. Sir, ଆମେ କିଛି ଶୁଣି ପାରିଲୁନି ଲାଷ୍ଟ ପାର୍ଟଟା କିଛି ଶୁଣି ପାରିଲୁନି
ଲାଷ୍ଟ ପାର୍ଟ
ଯାହା
ଶୁଭିଲାନି
କହିଲେ।
କିଛି?
So parent ପାଖରୁ
Okay,
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍
pause.
ଯୋଉ parent ପାଖରୁ ଆରମ୍ଭ କଲେ ସେଠୁ ଶୁଭିଲାନି କିଛି।
Okay, I'm repeating. So I was talking that if parents are not in the position to provide the ICT gadgets to their students or to their wards, to their children, they may oppose the implementation of virtual classes. Isn't it? Because they are not in a position to provide or afford money to purchase all those gadgets. Your research or your findings came to that parents didn't like the implementation of virtual learning. This is your finding. And you have to write with the interpretation. Why this finding came to here? Why your research came to with this finding? Or why did you come up with this finding? Because some of the parents stated that they are unable to provide financial support in purchasing the ICT gadgets. That may be laptop, mobile, laptop, or etc. or tabs. Because it's costly, they are not in a position to provide financial support to their children. Okay. So this may be the part of your analysis and interpretation. Again, your interpretation should also be related to your reviews. It should be highlighted that. It should be highlighted there that if the previous studies that you have reviewed in your review section, whether all those studies are in favor of this finding or they negate, they oppose this finding. You may interpret like this. You may discuss like this. Suppose two studies conducted by Madhav or conducted by Mamta or Narayan. Suppose all these three names which I uttered, all these three researchers, they studied about your virtual classroom previously, and their findings opposed or their findings revealed that virtual classroom, virtual learning is not effective. You may quote here. The studies conducted by Mamta, Madhav, Narayan opposed the effectiveness of virtual learning. So your interpretation is to be linked with previous studies. You analyzed and interpret with this. You may also interpret that these are the probable causes. That's why the parents didn't favor the virtual learning of their children. You interpret it. How? Now, while discussing, while interviewing with the parents, you came to know that the parents lack financial support. The parents feel uncomfort to provide all kinds of ICT infrastructure to their wards children. And the last step of descriptive research is all about writing the report. এটা ଆମେ ପଢିବା ଆମର ଏଥିରେ ଅଛି ପ୍ରପୋଜାଲ ତାପରେ ରିପୋର୍ଟ ରାଇଟିଂ ରିପୋର୍ଟ ଡିଟେଲ ପଢିବା କି ରିପୋର୍ଟ ରାଇଟିଂ କଲାବେଳେ କୋଉ କୋଉ ଆସ୍ପେକ୍ଟରେ ଆମେ ବେସ୍ କରିକି ରିପୋର୍ଟ ଲେଖିବା. So this is all about the steps. Writing report means ଏଥିରେ ଆମେ ସବୁ ହେଇଗଲା, research completed, findings are enough, and you have to write a report starting from the concept up to your findings that should be mentioned in your report. These are the 7 steps of descriptive research as far as your book is concerned. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now move to experimental research jibabe. In experimental research, what happens? Now we try to find out the causal relationship among different events in educational situation under controlled conditions, where we come across 3 kinds of variables. 3 kinds of variables in experimental research. One is independent variable. Number 2 is dependent variable. And number 3 is all about intervening variable. Okay. As far as experimental research is concerned, let's see one example so that our 3 kinds of variables will be clarified. First one, independent variable. For example, impact of mobile learning on students' achievement. This is one of the studies, suppose. Impact of mobile learning or M-learning, the short report. Impact of mobile learning or M learning or mobile learning. So impact of mobile learning on students' achievement is a topic note research. Which one is independent and which one is dependent? Now, please unmute yourself and let's discuss. If this is a topic, impact of mobile learning on students' achievement, which one influences the other?
So mobile influence the learning?
Yes.
Mobile influence the achievement.
Yes. Mobile learning influences the achievement of students. It means achievement is being influenced by mobile learning. So your achievement is influenced by that. So achievement depends upon the learning through mobile. Clear? So your achievement is dependent variable here, and your mobile learning, as it is influencing, it is independent variable. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But the third type variable is there. Intervening variable. ना आमे कहूचे मोबाइल लर्निंग भले आमे भाबुचे पिल्लारो अचीवमेंट टा हायर हबो बिकॉज़ गुड इन्फॉर्मेशन पिला एक्सेस
Sir, I would example.
यस
Sir, I would example टिके देखि बुझे तंत्र. I would example.
okay I am citing another example. Suppose effect of discussion method on learning achievement of students in mathematics. Is it clear? Effect of discussion method on mathematics achievement. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So which one influences the other? Which one
So
influences?
discussion method influences the mathematics achievement.
Good. So here, your achievement in mathematics is dependent on the discussion. How do you discuss? So discussion method here is independent variable because it influences the achievement of students. And your achievement in mathematics is depending on the discussion, on the quality of the ସେତେ ପିଲାର achievement ଭଲ ହେବ mathematics, isn't it? So your achievement in mathematics is dependent variable and your discussion method is independent variable. Clear?
Clear, sir.
Now the third category variable, which is called as intervening variable. Now question arises, if the discussion is very good and healthy, can you assure that the child or all the children will secure same mark?
No, no.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why? Why?
Because we
That
know
is
there
the
is
question.
an individual difference.
Individual difference.
Yes, there is individual difference. Okay, so your discussion is good. Students are expected to perform well, but a discussion ଆଉ achievement ଭିତରେ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ factor ରହିବ ତା ଭିତରେ. This is discussion, this is achievement. ଏଇଠୁ ଏଇ achievement କୁ ଆସିବା ଭିତରେ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ବାଟ ରହିଯାଉଛି. And ସେ ବାଟ ଭିତରେ ବହୁତ ଗୋଟେ କାରକ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି. What are those? ହେଇପାରେ ପିଲାର ସେଇଦିନ ପେଟ କାଟୁଥିବ, ସବୁଦିନ ପଢେ ବୁଝିଯାଏ ବଟ୍ ସେଇଦିନ ବୁଝିପାରିଲାନି କାରଣ ପେଟ କାଟୁଛି. ହେଇପାରେ ପିଲାକୁ ଭୋକ ଲାଗୁଛି, ଖାଇବାକୁ ପାଇନି, ଘରୁ ପଳେଇ ଯାଇଛି, ଲେଟ୍ ହେଇଯାଇଛି, ଟ୍ୟୁସନ ଟାଇମ୍ ହେଇଗଲା, ପଳେଇ ଯାଇଛି, ପେଟ କାଟିକି ଭୋକ ଲାଗିଲାଣି, ମନ ତ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ପାଖରେ ଥିବ, ଟିଚର ଯେତେ ଭଲ ବୁଝେଇଲେ ଡିସ୍କସନ ମେଥଡରେ ଆଚିଭମେଣ୍ଟ ସେତେ ଆସିବନି. ହେଇପାରେ ପସିବଲ. ଏହା ବି ହେଇପାରେ ଚାରିଟା ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ପଢଉଛନ୍ତି, ସେମ୍ ମେଥଡରେ ପଢଉଛନ୍ତି, ଦିଟା ପିଲା ଭଲ କଲେ, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା ଆଭରେଜ କଲା, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା କମ କଲା, କାରଣ କଣ ହେଇଥାଇପାରେ? ପିଲାର ଇଣ୍ଟେଲିଜେନ୍ସ କମ ଥାଇପାରେ. ହେଇପାରେ ପସିବିଲିଟିଜ. ପିଲାର ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ୍ ନଲେଜ ଯେତିକି ରହିବା କଥା, MLL ମିନିମମ୍ ଲେଭେଲ ଅଫ୍ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣିଂ ସେତିକି ନଥାଇପାରେ. ପିଲା ଅଷ୍ଟମ ପଢିଲାଣି, ଆଡିସନ ଜାଣିନି, ଆମେ ତାକୁ ଆସି ଡିଭିଜନ ପଢେଇ ଚାଲିଛେ, achievement ଆସିବ କୋଉଠୁ ଯେତେ ହେଭି ଡିସ୍କସନ ହେଲେ ବି? So these are interfering with the discussion and your achievement. You get my point? So these are the interfering factors which affect your achievement. Though we say your discussion method influences the result or the achievement of the students, but we can't say that this is the only influencing factor upon the achievement. ଏଇଠୁ ଏଠିକି ଆସିବା ଭିତରେ ଆହୁରି ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ କାରକ ଅଛି ଯୋଉଗୁଡା କି ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟଲି ଅର ଇନଡାଇରେକ୍ଟଲି ଲିଙ୍କ କରନ୍ତି achievement. So these are called as intervening variables. So as far as experimental research is concerned, you may come across its characteristics like control, manipulation, observation, replication. These are the four basic characteristics of experimental research. Now coming to that point. ये जो कौन फास्ट कौन कंट्रोल The discussion method has direct impact on achievement. Activity method has direct impact on achievement. Besides that method, there are other factors which are affecting the performance of the student. So, in experimental research, what happens? You have to control all those intervening variables. Yeah. So, the effect of intervening variables, when it is checked, when it is stopped, it is called as controlling of variables. Control kariba different methods ଅଛି जो intervening variable को हमें यदि control करिबा तबे different methods ଅଛି पढिबा एवं ता परे हमें कहि परिबा yes the discussion method has a good impact on achievement of students. So we have to nullify that intervening variable interference, which is called as controlling. For example, हमें यदि कहबा सबु सेम आईक्यू रो पिला को नै कि पढाइबा गोटे टीचर पाखरे गोटे मेथड रे सेम आईक्यू सेम इंटेलिजेंस सेम इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन आस्ते पिला को गोटे जो एबिलिटी ग्रुपिंग कथा हमें कहउछे करी कि हमको से गोटे टीचर द्वारा पढाइबा गोटे मेथड रे then we can be pretty sure that whether whether your discussion method is effective one or ineffective. This is what we call controlling. You have to control the intervening variable so that we can get the direct impact of independent variable upon dependent variable. Again, asuchi manipulation, another characteristic of your experimental research. You have to manipulate as per the demand. Questioning data manipulate कर देले बोले कौन देले 5 थिबो 5.5 कर देले. You have to manipulate. So in experimental research, manipulation is one of the characteristics of that. Again, observation is one of the characteristics of your experimental research. Observation, you have to observe. Most of the science students are there, I think so. Science could belong kocha. During experimentation, that may be in science of physics, chemistry, botany, biology, zoology, whatever may be, need to observe. Constant observation is required in order to note the specific changes at specific moments. Likewise, in social science, in education, for example, in psychology, if you want to identify the specific developments at specific age, specific day, specific year, you need to observe. What are the developments that are taking place during infancy, during childhood, during adolescence, during adulthood? It's only possible through observation only. Likewise, in experimental research, there is one characteristic, that is your observation, which needs to be done well. And this will help you to draw your conclusion. And the fourth characteristic of experimental research is all about replication. Not repetition, that is replication. What is that replication? Now, replication refers to a repetition with different situations. Not exactly repeating. Replication refers to repetition with different situations. See, jaha korichi exactly tome share kardala, that will be copy, Xerox copy. But in experimental research, we need to replicate. Repeat with different situations, different context, different dimensions. And in experimental research, we need to establish two kinds of validity. One is your internal validity and the other one is external validity. And in experimental research, as far as internal validity is concerned, you need to focus on the history, the maturity of the subject, like your pre-testing, measuring instrument, all these are associated with internal validity of your study. Suppose you mapucho, weight mapucho. यदि मेजरिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट ठीक नहीं केतोळे 55 देखैलानी केतोळे 60 देखैलानी केतोळे 65 देखैलानी केतोळे 45 देखैलानी so your measuring instrument is associated with internal value or else your research will not be valid for the purpose. Statistical regression, differential selection of subjects, experimental mortality. Suppose research करू करू का ऊपर सपोज आम जाने चाहूले गोटे पिलार ग्रोथ केमती होची जहाँ पर आम स्टडी करते से पिला डेथ हो गला जो बेंगल पर एक्सपेरिमेंट करते जो मूसा पर एक्सपेरिमेंट करते तार डेथ हो गला so I think was experimental mortality is also associated with the internal validity of the experimental research. Second is all about external validity. जोड़ी के हम कौन करूँ now we try to check the influence of extraneous variable. ताहले हम कहिबा your study has external validity. हम कोट लेबा to check about or check the influence of the variables. Where you need to estimate, you need to highlight on population validity and ecological validity. को context रे करछो एवं जहाँ ठू आनिचो जो population ठू डाटा आनिचो sample ठू whether that sample is truly representing the entire population or not. And से जो कोसली methods of controlling कौन ना मैं random assignment of subject करी परिबा in order to control matching subjects करी परिबा methods of using subjects their own controls methods of counterbalancing हम apply करी परिबा then holding intervening variable constant रखी करी परिबा control and applying statistical control techniques like your ANCOVA analysis of covariance. This will help to control.
So can you please repeat the methods, please?
Random assignment of subjects.
Methods of controlling variables. So.
Matching subjects with random assignments. Holding intervening variable constantly. Method of using subjects as their own controls. Then counterbalancing. Methods for controlling situational variables. And applying some statistical techniques. These are some of the techniques or methods used for control. So this is all for today. I hope I'm trying to make you understand what I'm trying to say.
Sir,
yes.
Sir, here I want to ask a small question.
Yes.
It's regarding extraneous variable.
Okay.
So whether extraneous variable or intervening variable are they same or different?
Good question. Intervening variable ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ଯେ ଏମିତି କିଛି variable ଅଛି those who interfere. For example, intelligence. Are you getting my point, Narayan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm getting. I'm getting, sir.
Intelligence. But extraneous variable, extra, it means what? External, extra. For example, you are feeling suffocated, and the best teacher is teaching your subject. You feel so suffocated that you couldn't sit for 45 minutes. Though you have talent, though you have intelligence, but your achievement will be affected. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That is external noise, environment, which are related to the individual or the subject is called as intervening variable, which is easily identified from
Sir.
external point of view is called as external variable.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to identify whether it is influencing or not. It's called as intervening variable. It's very tough to identify that whether intelligence is influencing this or not. But we can say, yes, my study hampered due to the loud sound of TV that my parents were watching that serial during my study hour. Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Sir. So one more. Can I ask?
Yes, yes.
Sir, here internal validity and external validity. Suppose a research experiment, we conducted an experiment, and we got the appropriate result what we were hypothesized. So internal validity gets successful. If external validity will not there, it will
Okay,
mismatch. Huh.
external validity मुझे पता कौन you have to, in order to maintain external validity, you need to check the influence of all those external variables. Then only हमें कौन कही परिवा our findings is generalized.
Yes.
External validity. तमाने हमारे findings टा applicable है परिवा. हमें directly कहिवा yes, the discussion method is influencing the learning achievement of the students because we have checked the influence of all those variables which were influencing upon achievement.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Clear, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. So let's call it a day.
Neither I understand your question nor the explanation. Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, one more question if you can. Sir.
Madhav. Yes, Madhav or Narayan.
Sir, how can we define internal validity?
How can we
Sir,
define
ଯଦି ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ
internal?
ଲେଖିବା ଗୋଟେ ଲାଇନରେ କେମିତି ଲେଖିବା sir? Internal validity ଆମେ କାହାକୁ କହିବା ବୋଲି କେମିତି ଲେଖିବା sir?
External validity କାହାକୁ ବୁଝିଗଲା?
explain କରିଦିଅ।
Okay. External
ବୁଝିଗଲି
validity.
କିନ୍ତୁ ଲେଖିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଅସୁବିଧା ହଉଛି sir।
Okay. So your internal validity ଆମେ କହୁଛେ, it is related to your experiment. Internal validity. It is related to.
Sir, related to what?
To your experiment. Experiment. Okay. Coming to your point. Yes. Internal validity refers to the validity of the experiment. जोड़ी कि हमें कौन कहबा कि लाइक जोटा हम कहउछली history, maturity of the subjects or maturation, pre-testing कथा हम कहउछे, measuring instrument तान हमें कौन कहबा हमें जो instrument बा tool को यूज करके मापुछे, suppose temperature मापुछे, this temperature मापिबा machine टा fault अछि, then our experiment lacks internal validity. कारण जहाँ द्वारा हमें टेम्परेचर मापिबा दैट इंस्ट्रूमेंट इज itself fault. So we lack internal validation. We can't generalize. केवल टेम्परेचर 40 देखो केवल 50 देखेला. So we need to have a good measuring instrument. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is all for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. ସମସ୍ତେ ଲେଫ୍ଟ ହେଇଯାଉ ନହେଲେ ରେକର୍ଡିଂଟା ଚାଲି ରହିବ। ନାରାୟଣ ଲେଫ୍ଟ ହେଇଯାଏ।